Hi, this is Jane with GreenBiz. Today we are going to talk about the top 5 mistakes to avoid in the spring with your lawn and garden. Number 1, do not skip the pre-emergent. Pre-emergent is what you put on your lawns or your gardens to prevent weeds from germinating. They can't come up through that pre-emergent. It doesn't keep them away forever, but it kind of buys you a little time until, well, the next step is taken. Don't skip it. That's a very important thing to do, the pre-emergent. Always remember to do that, both for your lawn and for your gardens. It will keep the weeds from germinating. The next mistake in garden care, lawn care that you want to avoid is mowing your grass too early and too short. So you want the grass to actually be growing before you're going to mow it. That's number 1. Number 2, you want to set your mower, depending on the kind of grass, so that it's not going to shear that grass right off. And that would be the too short. You don't want bald spots, just like you don't want them on your head. Well, you certainly don't want them on your yard either. So don't mow too early, don't mow too short, and you will be able to maintain a nice looking lawn through the summer. Another thing that people do, another mistake they make, is thinking, oh, my grass is kind of brown, because it's still winter, or there's nothing really growing much in the garden, I should fertilize now. Wrong. You need to wait with any kind of fertilizer until your lawn and your garden soil have warmed up to at least 55 to 60 degrees. Now, the reason you want to do that is because a plant that is dormant, a plant that's not actively growing, isn't going to be able to use that fertilizer. And so you're really just throwing your money away. And really, do you want to do that? No. So wait until the soil warms up so that the plants are actively growing, then you can fertilize. And with any kind of chemical, always remember to follow the directions. Don't overdo it, don't underdo it. Do it exactly what it says to do on the package. The next mistake that people can make has to do with watering. Too much, too little. Generally, a lawn that is established needs about an inch of water per week, whether it comes from the sky or you put it on with a sprinkler system. So, you want to make sure that lawns are watered at least an inch of water per week. If it is very hot in the summer, you may need to increase that. And of course, if you have a brand new lawn, just like you would treat a baby very differently than an adult, so you're going to treat a new lawn differently, and a new lawn would require more water. So you need to water about an inch. So you need to make sure that your lawn has about an inch of water per week. Now, you can overdo a good thing. You don't want to overwater your lawns either, because then your roots become soggy. They don't have a chance to dry out, and you actually can have root rot and other issues. So, always with everything, moderation, doing it exactly the right way. With your gardens, depending on what is growing, if it's in the sun, if it's in the shade, how hot it is, you're going to have to kind of play that one by ear, how much water to give a garden. The last point we're going to touch on is selecting the correct plants for the correct environment. I always go back to Minnesota. Up in Minnesota, for instance, in the spring, we had these beautiful lilac bushes. Everybody had lilacs. Do you know that lilacs don't do too well down here because it is too hot? So even though I would love to have one of these beautiful lilacs down here, or rhubarb for that matter, those plants don't do well down here in the south, where we have all the heat and humidity. So the plants that I would select for my yard would be plants that can tolerate our high heat, our high humidity, and our warmer climates in general. So instead of picking, for instance, a lilac bush, I might pick an azalea or some other type of plant, a holly for instance, that will do very well down here. When it comes to perennials, things like lantana or black-eyed Susans, they do great down here in the south in the sun. And they're going to do well in your garden. They're going to make your yard look beautiful. So Some people will use these plants, they kind of like to push the buttons. They like to see if they can get things to grow, and sometimes they can. If you choose plants that are, for instance, grown locally, you know that they are probably going to do very well in your yard. By the way, GreenBiz grows plants. The plants that they grow are grown locally. They're grown here on site. And so you know that they're coming from an environment, well, that can handle the environment. And if you would have GreenBiz come out and do an estimate of your yard, and you choose to use that estimate, you choose to get the plants, those plants are coming from a local environment, and they are going to thrive in your yard. So, the right plant for the right place. I hope that this video has been informative for you. If you have comments or questions, leave them at the bottom of the video. Also, hit the subscribe button for us. This is Jane with GreenBiz, wishing you a very good day and a very healthy lawn and garden.